What's up? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Yeah. What's up, guys? Man. Isn't that hard to believe that football's about done? Right? Hard to believe that it's over. We got to deal with week 17. And it's going to fucking suck. But we're there. I can't believe it. Football season's fucking over. But still got some games to talk about. We got some money to be made. And then we got some NBA to fucking talk about later. If you're not part of the DFS headquarters, I don't know what you're doing. Me and Belmar and Kyle and all of us are making bread over there. I don't really know what you're doing. But anyways, football yesterday. I had a pretty good day. Profited a couple $100. It was on, the brinks of being a monster day. I had Crowder. I had Gio. I was pretty heavy on the Bengals. I didn't play Kyle Allen, which I'm kind of regretting. But I did play Mitchell Trubisky, who did great. But unfortunately, the motherfucking Chiefs fucked me over, right? You would think, oh, the best team in football, Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, they're just so fucking great. But they couldn't fucking do anything against the Atlanta fucking Falcons defense, who were absolutely atrocious. One of the worst secondary in football, and Patrick Mahomes looked like an idiot. He looked awful. He didn't look good. I'll be real with you. Kelsey did what he needed to do. I mean, I had Kelsey. He was great. He did all right. I mean, I don't think he really reached value, which fucking sucked, but he did all right. But I also had a lot of Tyreek Hill, and unfortunately, in that lineup that was going to win some money, Tyreek Hill was in that lineup. And at 9K, and he gave me, 11 DK points? That's not helpful. No. So another reason why I hate the Chiefs, and I fucking hate Tyreek Hill, cost me money. So on my shit list. But again, guys, you were at home and you barely beat the Atlanta Falcons with no Julio Jones. You all think you're Super Bowl champions this year? I don't know about that. But anyways, it was still a profitable day. I still made a decent amount of money. Definitely won some money in NBA. I've been winning a lot in NBA. So I'm going to hope that continues today, and also football. So anyways, so let's talk about this game today. We have the Bills. They have 27.5 team total, and then you have the Patriots at 20. I literally feel like I'm always doing a write-up on the fucking Patriots. Always. And the Patriots are not a fun team to write up because they're so fucking bad. They are just so bad. I really like Cam Newton as a person. I think he doesn't give a shit about what anyone thinks. He dresses the way he wants to dress. He eats what he wants to eat. The dude's a vegan, and he just doesn't give a shit what you hate him or not. But guys, that shoulder is not good. His throws are awful. His deep passes are so inconsistent. It literally seems like he's running, if you're from the Bay Area, you know of this high school football team, De La Salle, one of the best in the nation, and all they literally do is run. So it seems like the Patriots are just literally trying to run the ball, run the timeout. I don't know what they're trying to do. But they're pretty bad. But here we are. So anyways. So I want to talk about the Patriots first. I just want to get it out of the way because it's just a headache. But I feel like I'm getting, I got a little edge. I feel a little confident with it. So let's talk about it. All right. So I got my notes written down, and let's do it. So we're going to talk about the running backs of the Patriots first. The Bills' run D is 18th in DVOA and 19th in yards per carry. I mean, you could run on the Bills. I've said this before. You can run on them. Their defense is, their secondary is pretty decent. They got some great corners, great safeties. But their run game, their run defense, you could definitely do some work. And I think that's why Vegas has this game semi-close, because the Patriots themselves are just a run-first team, and they're playing against a team who can't stop the run. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of running today. Trying to figure out which running back is going to get the majority of the work, that's something else. But let's figure it out. So I'm just going to talk about it. Damian Harris and Sony Michel. So For some reason, the Patriots still like Sonny Michel. I don't know why he's back. He's not good. Damien Harris stepped in when Sonny Michel had COVID, and he looked pretty decent. His yards per carry weren't amazing. He was doing a lot of like 18 carries for like 80 yards and a touchdown, which is fun. It's a great flex play in fantasy football. And he does what he needs to do. But now with Sonny Michel back, kind of throws a wrench in the whole thing. Sonny Michel's not getting carries. Damien Harris is still questionable to play today. So with the unknowns, we don't really know. My problem with both is pretty simple. Yes. My problem with both is pretty simple, though. Cam Newton runs more than his running backs. Cam Newton has the most red zone carries. Cam Newton runs more than he throws. So that kind of puts a wrench in the running back situation as a whole. If you wanted to, get some exposure to both, for sure. I'm kind of hoping that we get some news on Damien Harris. That's, fairly soon, so we can kind of figure out how we're going to do it. So I think, obviously, if Damien Harris is active, I would prefer Damien Harris over Sonny Michel. I think he has a higher ceiling. I just think he's a better running back than Sonny Michel. I don't love either running back. I really don't. It's one of those things, like if you're playing cash, I probably wouldn't even touch him. But if you're playing in tournaments, I definitely would want some exposure in my MME pool and kind of hope that you get lucky on one player. But in cash, I wouldn't touch any of these running backs. It's just so many uncertainties. We don't really know what's happening. We don't know. And plus, with the Patriots being a touchdown underdogs, I don't see them running as often. If I do see them running, it would be more of Cam Newton's, tucking it in and just running. So I'm really on the edge with the running backs. I honestly, depending on the ownership projections that I see later, I'll probably be really under the field on them. I just don't feel safe. I don't feel like I don't know what they're going to do. But again, we're in a situation where we kind of have to get some type of exposure because the Bills are beat on the ground. You can beat them on the ground. So you got to ask yourself, do I want to deal with the running back, or I just play Cam Newton and let him run the ball and do what he needs to do? I can easily see that today. So again, if you want to pick which one you like the most and you wanted some exposure, I'd obviously go Harris. I think he's just a better play. I think he's just a better running back. But Sonny Michel is a perfectly fine play in tournaments. It's just So that's the running back situation for the Patriots overall. And then you have James White, which, I don't understand. It's just like James White went from being Mr. Relevant to Mr. Who Are You? James White is not getting looks. The highest amount of targets he's gotten, I think since like week 10 or week 11, has been 4 targets. That's fucking nuts. And it's also pretty insane that he's getting such a low amount of targets, even though the Patriots are constantly playing from behind. Like they're from behind every game. And James White's still not getting work at all. I still find myself sprinkling in some James White, hoping that, hey, maybe Bill's like, we got to feed James White today, but I still don't feel super great about it. I think I would feel a little bit better if like Sonny Michel's out. Not Sonny Michel. Harris is out, but still kind of a shit situation. So again, I think the running back situation for the Patriots is just a headache. I would strictly stick to MME player pool only with small percentages. I'm not a super fan of the running backs for the Patriots at all today. I just can't do it. I don't know. Zach Moss was a beast last time these teams faced. He made, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to talk about that. I'm kind of feeling the same way, but we'll get there. All right. So again, if you running back situation, just play the quarterback. Just play Cam Newton. Cam Newton is the running back for the Patriots, guys. He literally does it. That's what he does. He can't throw the ball. He's not that great. His shoulder is literally like, you ever watch him throw? It's like, he's like one of those baseball players who doesn't release the ball in time. It's kind of like one of those things that hits the ground. That's what Cam Newton looks like. So again, I see Cam Newton running 10 plus times today, getting his red zone carries. And if this game does stay close like Vegas thinks, I mean, it's only 7 points. I think Cam Newton is going to become a pretty legit play today. But I do want to mention this, and I had it in my notes, so I don't mention it now. I think Jared Stidham, yeah. Now, I fully understand that he's not the starter. Totally get it. And this is just a tournament play only, regardless. It's risky. Is a point that he might not even touch the field. He might get a 0. It is what it is, right? But in a tournament, you're playing, 20 plus lineups. I really want some Jared Stidham, even if it's like 10%. We have seen that when Cam Newton has struggled, or the Patriots are just getting their ass whooped, Bill Belichick has brought in Jared, and he's played a little bit. And he hasn't looked too awful. At a low ownership, I might want a sprinkle or two. Again, super risky. May not even touch the field. I will probably have 5%, 10%. I'm really not going to get crazy with it. I'm just going to have some fun in my multiple entries. But I think he's worth just, throwing, a little dart. Play a little Jared today. See what happens. But yeah. Oh, Patriots, man. They're fucking cool. All right. Talk about the Patriots wide receivers now. Bills pass D is 15th in DVOA, 15th in yards allowed per pass. They're pretty decent. Like you can run on the Bills, but the corners and safety is actually pretty legit. But we're in a situation where the Patriots are gonna have to throw the ball. Excuse me. So we got to figure out where we want to go with that. And I think it's pretty simple. So let's talk about this. Jacoby Myers. On the Patriots itself, right? He has the best matchup, wide receiver wise on paper. He's gonna see plenty of Tyron Johnson, who isn't a slouch at all. Tyron Johnson is actually pretty fucking good. But we're talking about Jacoby Myers, who's getting constant volume. That's literally who Cam Newton looks at. I'm thinking 6 to 7 targets tonight would be, ideal. I think if you see that easily, I think we'll see, even 5 to 6 catches is my total guess. And we're going to see plenty of yardage from him. If Cam Newton can just be Cam Newton today and actually play semi-good football, I think Myers is a no-brainer. No-brainer. We do need a touchdown, which I think he gets. It's still not the greatest play ever, but again, we don't have much to choose from. Unless you're running a Bills onslaught, I think the player, the one-off I would just roll with would be Cam. But if I had to choose anyone from the Patriots, obviously it's not a difficult thing. He's going to have the ownership. It's going to be fucking Myers. I feel safest with him. Cam likes him. He's getting constant targets. They're underdogs. Game script's going to be in his favor. So I do like Myers a lot. I do like him a lot. And hope you get that touchdown today. All right. Let's do this. Let's talk about Damian Byrd. Damian Byrd, really cheap, has a really tough matchup against Levi Wallace. It's not the sexiest play. He's going to really, really struggle on the perimeter. But what makes me like Byrd, especially in tournaments, is because he is a deep threat, right? And all this is going to take is for Cam Newton to, for some way, make that shoulder just do it. And Damian Byrd catch a deep pass for a touchdown or something crazy like that. At his price, I believe it was like $4K. That's perfect. I have no issue with that. You keep talking about the fucking Bills, I'm not even there yet. Chill out. But yeah, I think Bird's fine in tournaments. And hopefully we can get a deep pass from Cam. But again, Levi Wallace is no slouch. It could literally be a 2 to 3 DK point game for Bird. But again, in tournaments, I want some exposure, especially in my Patriot stacks. But yeah, I don't love it. Don't love it. All right. N'Keal Harry. Looks like JR likes N'Keal Harry. But why? He's fucking poop. N'Keal Harry sucks. He's not good. He's literally a bad wide receiver. I swear to you, every time I watch a Patriots game, you hear like Tony Romo or an announcer like, N'Keal Harry dropped another one. The dude's constantly fucking dropping the ball. But I don't think he offers a ton of upside. I think he's fine for volume. I think if they're definitely playing from behind, we could see, 4 to 5 targets, and hopefully he catches those. but I think he's still hard to trust. I struggle trusting him. I played him plenty of times too, but I'm struggling to trust him at all. And I think I feel the same way about the whole wide receiving core for the Patriots. So it's like, whatever. But I think in tournaments it's always vital to have some exposures to these fucking players. I mean, he's going to be on the field a lot. He's going to play a lot of snaps. They're playing from behind. He's going to need to get some work. So, as I don't think he's a lock, I don't think anyone's truly a lock in, any fantasy sports because it's fantasy sports. But I think he's perfectly fine for your player pool. I would not play him in cash. Absolutely not. And I wouldn't play Bird in cash either. I would play Myers in cash, though. I would. So if I had to go, in order to rank them, I think it would just be pretty simple. Myers, Bird, and Myers. I'm sorry, Myers, Bird, and Harry. That's just how I feel about it. But I don't love Bird or Harry really at all. But I think I'll have some Bird exposure just because for the high ceiling that he does offer. So yeah, that's how I'm looking at those wide receivers. Patriots are kind of poop, guys. I mean, you knew that. I know that. I don't need to tell you that. You understand? All right. So let's talk about the Bills. We'll get into the running backs right now. Patriots run D. 32nd in DVOA, guys. They're fucking poop. Not good. They're 32nd in DVOA and 26th in yards per carry. They literally let anyone run on them. They just don't stop the run. So let's talk about the Bills running backs now. The first one I'll talk about is Zach Moss. Moss has been out snapping Singletary the last 5 weeks. He is coming off 13 carries and 81 yards last week, while Singletary had 7 carries for 17 yards and a touchdown. I think, can we see, we're going to talk about it. We'll get there, I'm telling you. As much as I do love Moss, I'm going to have a lock. Just like JR said, Moss is a lock with 2 touchdowns. I really wouldn't be shocked. The only thing that I get super concerned about with Moss is that he's not a part of the passing game at all. He doesn't get any passes and any targets. It's just mostly a carry type of guy. So I think that lowers his ceiling just a little bit. But in this matchup too, I mean, if they end up, just running the ball because they are the favorites, Moss is going to continue to get the work. Now, I was going to bring this up later on, but I'll bring it up in a second. Hold on. So I do like Moss. I think he's fine. I think he's great. I think he's definitely the future running back for the Bills. We're seeing that already. But he's also still splitting carries with Devin Singletary. That always scares me. That split backfield shit is always scary. So as I know that Moss is out snapping Devin Singletary, I still think Singletary has a solid floor based on the fact that he is part of the passing game. Now, it seems like someone's asking if Josh Allen could throw over 30 attempts today. I was doing the research on this, and did you know that they literally throw 60% of the time. This is a first pass offense. The Bills straight up fucking pass majority of the time. Regardless if they are winning, they still pass. So do I think Josh Allen can go over 30 passes? Yeah, I do. And what makes it kind of frustrating too, especially if you're trying to lean on one of these running backs, is that Josh Allen runs a lot, right? So we have another quarterback that is throwing 60% of the time, and he also likes to run. So that could definitely lower the ceiling for both of these players. I will say this. I still like Moss, and I would honestly think Moss is fine for cash. I will definitely have exposure to both running backs in my GPP pool because why would you not? But still, I still have some pros and cons. Yeah, there you go. See, Snoop came in here and dropped the fucking nugget. And that's why I'm super on the edge of how I want to handle these running back situations. If Moss ends up looking like chalk, I might really lower my exposure in tournaments. But if he's not, if he's like in the 10-15% range, then I'm gonna fucking smash the shit out of that. Yeah, so again, I think both running backs are super in play. I just wanted to tell you why I was feeling kind of about both. Because of the situation that they throw 60% of the time. 36.5 passes per game. That's going to continue. It's going to continue. Right on, Snoop. Thanks for dropping that, man. But again, I like both running backs. I think they're fine. I would prefer Moss, but I think Singletary is fine. But again, they're both 7K for running backs who are splitting. It's just a lot of like, so I think if the other issue is that if you want to get to the Bills wide receivers, you're probably gonna have to fade Josh Allen or these running backs, because I mean Cole Beasley's 10K, Diggs is over 10K, etc. So run a couple lineups, get some running backs in there. One of them's gonna hit. I'm thinking Moss is gonna be it, especially against a shit ass run D. So yeah, I still think those both are fine. Both are fine. Moss I prefer in cash. Singletary I wouldn't touch in cash. So there you go. All right, let's talk about the wide receivers now. Patriots pass D 16th in DVOA and 5th in yards allowed per pass. They're not awful. They don't have Gilmore, so that sucks. That really hurts. So I really don't. Honestly, if I was betting on the over-under, I would honestly take the over. I don't see this being super close. I don't. So, anyways. So right now, let's talk about Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, man. This guy. He does it all. He's 11,000. He's really, really, really expensive. But to my opinion, he has the second highest ceiling on the slate behind Josh Allen. And he can do whatever he wants. He's getting 10 plus targets a game. He's eating everybody. He's just doing what he needs to do. Stephon Diggs is dope. And it's hard to believe that the Bills just literally got him for a little bit of pay. Love Diggs today. He's going to see a lot of J.C. Jackson, who has been burnt a lot. A lot. J.C. Jackson is no bueno. Probably won't be on a team next year, to be honest with you. I love Diggs. Don't overthink it. Perfectly fine for cash. Perfectly fine for all formats. Yeah, love Diggs. I don't need to tell you anything more about it. J.C. Jackson sucks. Diggs should eat. The next wide receiver I'll talk about is John Brown. So by the looks of it, John Brown is going to be back today, guys. And he's under 3,000. So absolutely a misprice. If he does start, he's going to go directly into the wide receiver 2 and should be chopped. And I don't care. At 2,800, to me, he's the best value on the slate. I will probably just lock him in and pray for the best. Is it possible that he may not get the full amount of snap? Absolutely. Surely is possible. The Bills are literally not really playing for much. They're playing to tie for first place. That's cool. So, do they push him? I don't know. But I love John Brown today, especially if he plays at 2,800. I'm not even overthinking it. If he plays 50% of the snaps, I don't give a fuck. John Brown is literally too cheap. DK really messed up on that pricing, and just one of those things we like our podcast says, eat the chop. Just eat it. So I'm gonna have a lot of John Brown today. Yeah. So the next wide receiver I'll talk about is Cole Beasley. I never thought I would ever see Cole Beasley at 10K. 10K. He's 10K. He has 5 games over 100 yards and 4 games where he has scored 20 DK points. The only issue that I do have is that these huge games have came when John Brown is not on the field. So I worry about Cole Beasley's ceiling in this matchup. I wouldn't lie to you if I said I would probably be a little bit lower than I want it to be, especially if John Brown does play. But I think he makes like a really good tournament play. Like you could fade Diggs and hope that it's Cole Beasley and John Brown show. It's possible. But you're gonna have to make a decision. Do you want Diggs or do you want Cole Beasley? And the obvious answer to me is Diggs, right? So Cole Beasley, I'm staying away from cash. I will have him in my tournament pool, and that's about it. If John Brown is indeed out, if we find out he's not playing, then get as much Cole Beasley as you want. I would probably be over the field in that instance, and I'd probably go a little bit under on Diggs just to try to be a little bit different. But yeah, it sounds like John Brown is definitely playing, so Hendricks and Fixins a little bit. But I think Cole Beasley's fine. Another solid matchup for him too. But yeah, John Brown hinders some things a little bit. So yeah. Okay, I still want to talk about Gabriel Davis. If Brown returns, which he should, Davis will not have any ownership, right? And the weird thing is that I was reading an article and it said that Gabriel Davis had his best game he had his best game with John Brown actually playing. So I want exposure in GPPs with Gabriel Davis. And I kind of hope John Brown plays because then nobody will play Gabriel Davis. And, if John Brown plays and he's limited, that means Gabriel Davis will get still plenty amount of snaps. So with that being said, I'm a little bit hesitant in cash. I don't like him in cash because of that. But if he definitely is, if Brown definitely does play, then I definitely like Gabriel Davis in tournaments a lot. So I think he's a great contrarian play. I don't think he'll be owned. So solid play. And also maybe a good pivot off John Brown itself. So you want to be a little bit different. So I think you should have Gabriel Davis in your player pool. Definitely not a cash play, but totally fine in tournaments. So Isaiah McKenzie, I don't play him. I never do. His volume is very limited. He doesn't offer a huge amount of upside. I don't see this game being like a low-scoring game, so I don't think you really necessarily need McKenzie. And if John Brown is definitely back today, then McKenzie's losing more volume and more snaps as it is. So I think Isaiah McKenzie is strictly a fade for me. If you did want to play him, I would just leave him in your GPP pool, and he's a tournament punt. But again, I will probably have 0. So, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the tight end. Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox has 15 targets the last 3 games and 3 touchdowns the last 4 games. Seems that Josh Allen is starting to look his way. Yeah, Brown back can still hurt that, but I like this. He's in another good spot. No one's going to play him. Low ownership. I love him in tournaments. I feel like John Brown is throwing a wrench into a lot of things, and I think it's keeping a lot of players lower owned. So I like Knox. I think he catches touchdown today, and I think that's perfect. I don't think he's like a lock-in play. I don't think he's a strong play by any means, but I think he's a great tournament play. And I really see maybe 10% ownership, and that's perfect. Josh Allen seems to be targeting him quite a bit, and so I want to make sure that I have some Knox exposure. In cash, I probably wouldn't go there. But in tournaments, I really do like him. So yeah, for sure. Okay, so again, with the Bills are pretty straightforward to me. All right, John Brown plays. He's the value lock of the day. I don't like to say locks. I really hate that term. But John Brown is so underpriced. He should be up $6K to $7K in my opinion. So at 2,800, he's literally priced. Is it lower than most kickers? I mean, I don't fucking know. So I love John Brown. I think he's great. I think he's in a great spot. I love Diggs. I think cash play. Don't even overthink it. I think he's been playing all formats, literally the second highest ceiling on the slate. Gabriel Davis is a great contrarian play. Cole Beasley, 10K. I would feel better if Brown is out, but I will maybe have a small percentage in tournaments just in case. Beasley does what he does. So we put Diggs, Allen, and Moss on FanDuel. Picking a kicker seems, yeah. See, I think kickers, in my opinion, are more of a cash play. I don't think they have the huge upside that we're really looking for. So I would kind of mess around with that. I'm not much of a FanDuel guy, but I would definitely try to mess around with that. If you feel safe about using the kicker in your lineup, then do it, dude. I would play multiple lineups. I would just do that. But I like the build so far. I think it's a little bit chalky, so I think it's a little more cash. But I think it's cool. I think it's fine. So anyways, here's my cash pool. And this is how I build my cash lineups, and it literally doesn't change. So Josh Allen, hands down. Stephon Diggs, Cam Newton. If Brown sits, Gabriel Davis is cool. If Brown plays, which he should, lock in Brown. Bird is fine. Kickers are fine. And Moss, for sure. Those are my cash playing pool. I'm going to literally try to build around those players and try to make something work. I'm most likely going to have Josh Allen as my quarterback or as my captain, or Cam Newton. I really like playing quarterbacks at my captain who have a running upside. So both run plenty of times. I like both. Now for tournament, here are my captain plays: Stephon Diggs, John Brown, Jacoby Myers, Moss. I think Singletary is fine. Definitely won't be owned at all. And Cam Newton. So Cam Newton gonna make or break my day. I know that. But I think Vegas has us close for a reason. I'm thinking Vegas thinks that Cam Newton's gonna run a few in today, and I can see it, maybe 2. And I definitely want exposure to Cam Newton. So yeah. So I think, it's a little bit early in the day. We still got some time to kind of figure out if John Brown's playing, if we're going to figure out, is he going to be limited? How's it going to work? Is Damian Harris going to play? Things that we still have to keep watching on Twitter and the beat writers. So make sure that you're kind of focusing on that. As for, overall just builds, I'll probably run a few onslaughts of the Bills. So that means, heavy Bills, one off as a Patriot, could be Jacoby Myers, or I might just go with Cam. Most likely Cam. I probably would just try to get as much Cam Newton as I want, and pray for the best. So yeah, that's where I am as of now with my overall thought process with this game. But yeah, I think we'll have more information a little bit later. But other than that, I'm done. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me on Twitter, Vigo07. If you have any basketball questions, don't hesitate to reach out as well. We got a nice little slate today going on with that. I know Snoop's doing a sheet for the chat. So, yeah, that's where we are. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Let's pay attention to the news. Let's make sure that we understand what's going down. And I'll talk to you guys later.